without further ado, how do we start this? Well, on the count of three, everybody trying to get your time. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Whoa! Hey! Yeah, Quaker Kid Productions, 20 Scene Tube interview. It's an earthquake. Oh no! Oh man, awesome, awesome. You guys are the greatest. Armed and hammered right here. Okay, yeah, man. We got uh, Thor, Kyle, Mopa, Jamie, John, all here. This is good. This is like, 20 scene tube to the realist right here. 20scene.com. Check it out. Just so you guys know, so everybody any new viewers, anybody who's just sort of hopping in to the Twitch stream, like 20 Scene started out as a zine collective making miniature magazines and like comics and shit like that, and we eventually started a website, started doing music editorials and stuff like that, and video content, footage from shows, and that brings us to a web series now, 20 Scene Tube, youtube.com, search 20 Scene Tube, check that shit out. But yeah, without further ado, we got Armed and Hammered here. This is like epic right now as far as like Toronto punk bands go. This is big time. Like 30 years in the making and still running with that, like awesome, like I mean kick-ass sound. You guys are like, why don't you just say hi to the camera real quick, everybody?
Cheers.
All right, yeah. Well, yeah. Just I want to thank John real quick just for helping put this together. Like the big ups there, and big ups to all you guys for making it. Like I know this was a bit of a push, but yeah, we're here. Let's start off by just like talking a bit about how Armed and Hammered started. Like how. And anybody can just sort of jump in here.
I have to leave that up to you guys because Mopa, Thor, and Kyle are actually original members. So. I think, Thor, you came up with the name, didn't you?
I think Kyle said the name first. He just kind of blurted it out. I think we were at the Black Bull on the patio or something.
Wow.
I started freaking out and I said that would be a great name for the band, and everybody was kind of not too sure about it, and I just wouldn't shut up about it. I think I kind of pushed for the band name to be Armed and Hammered, but I think Kyle actually came up with it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I always thought it was you. That's funny. And what year would have that been for all the other people who have used the same name in bands?
1988?
88?
Was it?
All right.
88?
Yeah.
So that's on the record now, right? 1988.
That's
probably
so. Like, was it just like so? It was Kevin, Mopa, and Kyle. Like, how did you guys know each other at the time? Was it just sort of like you were just randomly friends?
Fort Goof. Yeah, we all hung out. I lived at the Fort. Mopa, Kyle, Phil, and Lamo, the other guys who started the band with us at the time. Lamo lived at the Fort. Yeah, we were there all the time, partying, drinking. And there was a lot of bands that came out of there, rehearsed there, and just hung out there back in the day, back in the 80s.
Was it like a recording studio, Flophouse sort of thing?
I don't know about it. Yeah, there was some archaic, ancient recording equipment there, yeah. But the Fort was its own thing. I don't know, the Dirty Drunken Punk book kind of describes it, I guess. There's a whole book about it.
I'll look that up for sure. Dirty Drunken Punk. So
that's the Fort. That's a bunch of fucking goofs on the Fort and everything, but that's where Armed and Hammered kind of started.
Oh, okay. So a bunch of fucking goofs was there too, sort of thing.
Yeah, it was started at the Goof Fort.
Oh.
But we were doing our own thing in that sort of space,
Right on. Okay, so that gives me a good idea of like how that sort of started. Yeah. And you guys were all doing the same thing like musically at the time. It wasn't like musical chairs sort of thing.
we were all pretty much in the same like small Toronto, hardcore punk scene at the time for sure.
Yeah, but what I mean is like you still played bass, Thor, and Mopa did vocals, and
Right.
Kyle was drums.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, we were mostly just learning how to play our instruments and do our thing.
Sick. Okay. Well, yeah. So like, and I guess you came along a couple years later, eh, John?
I came along a few years later. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, John was around though. John was around in the scene, like early on.
Yeah. I guess so. I remember like I remember when Mopa asked me if I wanted to be in the band because Armed and Hammered had a place called Hammer House that was at Queen and Tecumseh, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And I was working at a futon store at Queen and Tecumseh, and it was really slow. I didn't do anything, so all I did was sit out front and smoke. And Mopa used to walk by.
Futon John didn't stick.
What's that? Sorry.
It's a good thing Futon John never stuck.
Yeah, well, I'd still do that job if I. I don't know if there's some weird pun there that I'm not getting, but I'm afraid. Yeah. Anyway, so I'd always be standing out in front of the store smoking cigarettes, and Mopa would come by probably after, I don't know, being at Future Bakery eating mashed potatoes or something. And
Roadies, yeah.
It was funny, man, because I had like long hair. I remember joining the band, and like everyone except for Mopa was like, I don't know if we want a long-haired guy in the band, and I don't know if that's the way to go. So I shaved my head, and then everyone else in the band grew their hair long after I shaved my head. I think they were just fucking with me.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh,
kind of like you were talking about wrapping drummers up in paper and stuff. That was kind of my life for a while.
Once punk fashion became mainstream, all the punks just grew their fucking hair out because they didn't know what to do anymore. It's like, fuck. Everything got appropriated, so we're just gonna like look like we're fucking messy people and we don't give a fuck.
So okay, like I'm gonna point this one at Mopa. He looks a little bit bored. What is the give me your greatest Armed and Hammered story? Come on, dude. Like, what is? There's got to be one that sticks out.
Fuck, cat, stop fighting me. Germany, trying to find BigJohn.
I'd like to hear this one.
Well, what happened to BigJohn?
What didn't happen to BigJohn on that trip?
Well, most of the trip, John was fucking loaded, like cat, like really loaded. Yeah. Hang on. All right, hang on. I gotta get to a semi-prone position here because my cat keeps biting me. So I think we were in Germany, and we were supposed to go to, I think, Czech Republic. What was it, Leipzig, Kyle, or Czech Republic? Kyle? Yeah. Where were we going? Yeah, like were we going to Leipzig or Czech Republic?
We were in Leipzig.
Oh, okay, right. So, yeah, we were in Leipzig. That's right.
So you were in Czech Republic, and BigJohn was just getting demolished. Is that what you're saying?
Well, he was constantly demolished. I think there was at one point where we went through a couple international borders, and he didn't even know. He didn't even pick up. But
no, you know what? I remember, if it's the story I'm thinking of.
With the nun.
Yeah. We were in Leipzig, and
right.
We were waiting to leave, and it was taking forever to leave or something. I can't remember what it was. Oh, you know what? Because there was some. Wasn't there like a bunch of skinheads or something outside the place, and we couldn't?
No,
leave?
We couldn't find you. Is why we couldn't leave.
No. Before that. Oh, I
don't remember that.
It was taking a long time to leave, so I went to this little bar down at the end of the street, like right at the end of the alley from that place. There was like a bar with a patio. I just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go drink beer in this bar on the patio." And I was drinking beer in this bar in the patio, and ended up talking to this nun who was drinking beer on the patio as well. And she was, I think, entering the convent that day or something like that, and so went to the convent with the nun, and She went into the convent, and I fell asleep in the courtyard. And then all I knew, next thing I know, I heard everyone like yelling my name. I guess it was hours later.
Certain short movies start like that.
So, Chris Walters wrote about it in his book. I think Mythantropes and Miscreants. There's a couple Arms and Hammer stories in there, but yeah, basically the long and short of it was after the initial waiting period was done, we couldn't find John, and me and Kyle were looking for John, and I don't know what it was, but we decided to look into this one building window, and we thought we saw a Toronto Maple Leafs shirt, and then we realized after a while that we actually did. And then we realized it was John, and I don't remember how we got him out. Kyle might be able to answer that, but fucking no, you can't. I really don't remember how we got him out, but it was I don't know how late we were. We were really, really late for our next show, and fucking there was something to do with going across the border, and something was going wrong, and the border guards pulled out a hockey shirt with Lindros's name on the back, and all of a sudden we were okay. You remember that?
No, that's right, man. We were going to Czech Republic,
right?
And the border was closed because of a demonstration. Right? What was the demonstration?
Oh, the IMF demonstration in Czech Republic.
Right, it was like an IMF demonstration. The border was closed because like every radical from all over Europe was convening there to like basically tear down all of Prague, right? And we knew that, and we were going to try and get over the border. And I'm speaking through a drunken haze here, so correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But we knew that, so we're trying to get through the border. We figured we'd give it a shot, thinking that we'd get turned back anyway. And we got to the border, and there were literally like a shack with a bunch of guys with machine guns. I remember machine guns. I don't know if that's right, but and they told us to pull everything out of our van and lay it out on the side of the road and say, like, pull one thing out of your bag at a time, lay it out on the side of the road, say what it is, and then they'd approve whether or not we could go through the border. So I told everyone, like, I'm still kind of hammered, so I got to go last. Right? It was kind of cold, so I figured the cold would sober me up a little bit. And everyone goes through, and they're pulling all their stuff out, like T-shirt, lying it down on the thing, boot, you know. So come to me, and for some reason I had, like, a Philadelphia Flyers hockey jersey in my bag. First thing I pulled out, Philadelphia Flyers hockey jersey. The guy looked at me and he went, "Cool, Eric Lindros, you guys go." And we got into the Czech Republic, went to Prague, played the show.
You should have gone first, man. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's fucking sick though. Like I like that story. Just yeah, like.
Almost our driver had a gas mask, so that didn't look good as far as protesting goes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Actually,
go ahead, John.
After playing that show, I remember that show being really cool. And after we played the show, the next thing I remember is drinking some absinthe with Mopa. And then I remember after that waking up in like a really dark, cold room somewhere, huddled with Mopa. We're like hugging each other because it's so freezing. And I remember waking up, it's completely dark, and Mopa just going, "Johnny, is that you?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he went, "Oh, okay." And then that's pretty much it. And then I remember waking up when we were home. Apparently we were there for like 3 days or something, and our driver got busted. And it was like, I don't know.
So
I wanted to go to this church that's like in outside of Prague. That's all made from like human bones and stuff like that. They have these chandeliers and stuff. And apparently we were there. And as we were leaving Czech Republic, I was like, "Fuck! I'm so sad that we didn't get to go to that church." They're like, "Oh, we were there, John." We were just like a raving lunatic while we were there. So anyway.
So
Also,
like
Big John in German translates to large penis, so you can imagine the confusion as these guys were running around asking everybody if they'd seen Big John. They were looking for Big John.
That's right. There you
Anyway,
that's interesting. They must have been pretty confused there. But yeah, sorry, just so everybody knows, Kevin there, Kyle, the drummer from Armed and Hammered, is on speaker there, because we couldn't get the mic going. So he said something about gas masks or something. What was that?
Well, our driver Bubbles from Ireland, he had a gas mask. He
Wasn't there something too, like, wasn't there a story? And again, like, I'm a little foggy on those couple of days, but wasn't there a story where Bubbles got busted or something?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, because on the way to that church, he was driving and he was drunk and he got pulled over and arrested.
right. So
Shit.
the best. So he got pulled over and arrested, but the best part of the story, he was from Ireland, and the best part of the story I heard is they pulled him into the station. I guess in Prague, you're not allowed to have, like, you have to have like zero. He wasn't hammered, like he wasn't drunk. He had a beer or something. But in Czech Republic, he had to have like 0 alcohol percentage or something like that. And and again, this is like secondhand. This is a story I heard, but I heard he got out of that charge by saying that he was from Ireland and everyone's drunk all the time while you're driving.
But this is the bus driver for you guys' van, or like what? Were you?
Yeah. He was the driver. We were on tour with the Restarts, and he was driving the motor.
Oh, and he had a gas mask with him just in case something happened.
A couple of days in that van, you kind of needed a gas mask. Probably the smart thing.
Who was in the band at that time? Like, what year was that?
Would have been around like 99, 98. It was.
Wow. Okay.
You know, we didn't have a bass player, and I think Kerf was playing bass on that tour, wasn't he? Weren't we kind of switching around, like Kerf and I?
Something.
No, I think he pretty much played bass, right?
It's something like that. I can't totally remember, but
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so like on to the next question. That was great, by the way. Thank you for sharing that. Do you guys remember the Arms and Hammered Sucker Punch split? Like particularly, like I found this in a record store myself, and I don't even have records, but I thought it was so fucking cool looking. I was like, I'm gonna buy this, put it on my wall, and so I started putting records on my wall literally because I bought this record, and I just random shit, like Air Supply and like just random records that I find, but yours happened to be one of them, and it on the back it talks about a Crad Kilodani, the author and stuff like that. Do you guys remember that release?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, tell me about that. I thought that was super cool.
Well, that was like our first record, I think, right?
yeah, it was the first record, and it was the split 7-inch we did with Sucker Punch, which I think was their first record too. And we're on one side, Sucker Punch is on the other side, and it's actually Crad Kolodny. He's a local, or was a local, Toronto author, and he used to stand on the street corners and sell his literature. And I knew him. I think Kyle knew him. Our bass player Kieran, who the guy who went off and started Restarts, he knew him quite well too. And he was always getting in shit for, like, he was trying to be an author and he'd write some kind of fucked up shit. And someone was always hauling him in front of the fucking courts and charging him like $100 for like illegally fucking selling his stuff on the corner or some thing like that, right? So we thought that was kind of a stupid injustice, and I think Kyle and Kieran actually wrote that song.
Well, yeah. The music was always exploited.
Right, so the music we borrowed from the Exploited. Sid Vicious was innocent, and we changed it to Crad Kolodny was innocent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a cover song that was adapted to a different story.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because didn't he get busted for selling his stuff on the street, right? Like he
A couple times.
Everything was DIY.
Yeah, like the Exploited are sick too. That's really cool that you guys did a cover of them way back in the day before they were like, sort of as popular as they are, like that's awesome. So yeah, and I have a question about the art for your merch. and particularly like I like all that gitchy sort of like shit that Iron Maiden does with like Eddie and stuff like that, and I was just wondering particularly if that spiky haired punker on your album covers all the time, you know what I'm saying? Like he looks like the same guy. I mean, sometimes he's got like a friggin' Liberty spikes, and sometimes he's got like a mohawk, you know what I'm saying? But like, does he have a name? Is there a story behind this character?
Yeah. Well, he was drawn by our old bass player Kieran. He plays in Restarts now, and Kieran does a lot of art. And he's got a really distinct style. So all of that stuff kind of came from Kieran's sort of artwork. He doesn't necessarily have a name, but some of the different logos that like we'll call the cover for Fully Loaded. Sometimes I call that the Suicider guy because he's got that button that says Suicider on it.
Yeah.
And the one from that, I think it's that Sucker Punch 7-inch. Actually, we just call him the Drunk Punks guy. But
yeah.
If I had to guess, I think that Kieran mostly drew inspiration from his friends, like so they were people like Pete Lewis, Billy Lewis. That's what those guys look like. Rest in peace to both of those guys, brothers. But I think Kieran basically just put his friends in his art all the time. That's pretty much what he was doing. So those are based on real people. Pretty sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that. Like
I'm guessing, but I would look at those pictures and recognize some people in them for sure.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man, that Sucker Punch record that you found in a record store, where did you find that? That's awesome.
I'm trying to think, like it was so long ago, literally. Like it was when like it was when I came back to Toronto or something after dropping out of college for like welder school and all this other shit. But like I can't even pinpoint. It could have even been that record store, that Sunrise or Sunshine that was on Yonge Street. I used to go there all the time. Yeah, no, funny story about that record. I only listened to it, like I've heard some of the songs recently, like since and stuff like that, but like I the first time I tried to play that record after I got it, my dad like came and just started riffing on me. Like I played it, like he just ran out of nowhere. I've never seen him do this. He's like, "Don't you ever turn this music on in my house again?" With his Moroccan accent going and just like yelling at me. It was like the classic. It reminded me of like a Twisted Sister music video or something.
That's the effect awesome. Punk rock should have on parents, typically.
That's awesome. I was so stoked to do that record, man. Sucker Punch was like the best band out of Toronto, man, for sure, hands down. They were awesome. I don't know if you've listened to the Sucker Punch side, but they were kind of like heavier psychobilly sort of sound, man. Yeah, I still have a couple of copies of it kicking around too. I have like maybe 4 or 5 copies left, I think.
Yeah, they were mostly a 3-piece originally, right? Chris and Sean Dignan, the brothers, and Cindy, their bass player, who also played in Armed and Hammered for a while.
Well, they were. I don't know if that recording they were 3 or 4, but they were a 4-piece for a while with Dorian Wild playing guitar, and Dorian actually played for Armed and Hammered as well. Right when I joined, so when I joined, it was Dorian and
that's right,
myself. But I think that recording they might have been a 3-piece. They were a 3-piece always after that.
Well, yeah, I definitely heard of Sucker Punch before. I'm gonna give that record a good listen. Now I'm gonna go buy a record player. You guys have convinced me to give up my tape listening ways and start with the needle. But yeah, dude. Okay. Is there some like and again I don't want to like encroach on your creativity or whatever the case may be, but like if you could tell me just like is there some formula or like thing that happens when Armed and Hammered puts songs and albums together? Like is it just super organic and just on the fly? I mean, I imagine you guys have been around for so long, there must be some sort of rhyme and reason to what goes on.
Oh, I guess technically that would be a good question. I don't really have a long and short answer. I know for me, I write most of the lyrics, not all of them, but most of them, and I just write about my environment and how I see things. Um, that doesn't necessarily sort of always convey to what the final outcome is, which is okay because I guess if you want to get all esoteric about it, there's the whole sort of natural evolution of how someone comes up with an idea and someone adds in a bass line and someone adds in a guitar line and
Ah.
we right. It's very it's always been very collective, right? And
Yeah, I guess pretty organic is a good way to put it. Everybody in the band has come up with ideas for stuff at certain points, or we'll occasionally, try to get a cover done. I remember Mopa early on trying to get us to do a cover of a Sister of Mercy's song, I think.
I know where you're going with this. And
He didn't want to tell us
it's Christian
because
death.
Sisters of Mercy at the time was a different genre. It wasn't punk, but it sort of wasn't.
It was
And
Christian
so
death.
Mopa was Christian. It was a Christian death song. Yes, that's right. And Mopa was afraid we would refuse if we knew who it was, if we knew it wasn't a punk band, right? So he just gave us the riff. He's like, "This is how the song goes. Just play these notes." And we're like, "All right." So we started playing it. Mopa started singing along
Yeah,
to it.
you know who wrote that song?
Who?
Rick Agnew. Rick Agnew and his brother, and I think they were
Okay.
from the Adolescents.
Shit. It's too bad we didn't cover it. But
You
so
know.
Mopa was trying to sort of low key like sneak in this song, trying to get us to play this cover. And we started to figure out that Mopa was like manipulating us a little bit, not in a bad way, obviously. Like we can't do a cover. So we started playing it with like a country sort of hook to it, and it ended with like us turning it into a country song and Mopa screaming in protest, like "No, no!" And I fucking wish we had a recording of that.
Oh man, that sounds amazing. Yeah, that's a and like yeah. Thanks for that was a awesome answer because like yeah, I just wanted to see a little bit of insight on like what the goings on with like some
I've
of
seen
the.
every band member have input on songs and music. You know,
So yeah, it probably varies. It depends on the particular song then, or something to find out exactly like what happened or something.
I would say okay. After I left the band, after the band sort of split up and reformed, I think Kieran had you got to give him credit. Like he had a lot of influence on where the direction that the band took with like in terms of style. Kieran was like really fucking serious about punk, and like we used to make fun of him and call him Captain Punk, right? But no joke. Like he had a good vision and he kind of knew what he wanted to do. So he kind of helped the band really go in a certain direction and give it a real style, and if you want to put it that way. So I think he kind of really, really helped that to sort of happen. And to this day, I think the band still kind of like works within, that sort of, I don't know, that's just style basically, I guess. So I think Kieran's largely responsible for it, and Kyle too.
So what happened to Kieran then, if you don't mind me asking? Is he?
He moved to the UK.
Oh, okay.
Kieran moved to the UK, yeah, and he started the Restarts.
Yeah, he played with the Verdigers for a while, and
yeah,
I think he did a recording with them, and I can't remember that's before or after the Restarts. Kyle would know better than me, I think. Kyle's actually done a couple tours, I think, with them, or at least one tour through Europe with the Restarts, and we've always kept in touch with Kieran. The last couple times he's come here, I think we played the shows with him. And I think we were going to play with them last summer. They were supposed to come back here too. We had a whole bunch of shows and sort of dates and stuff set up, which included the Restarts. But as you know, COVID happened and we missed all those shows. But I think in terms of Restarts and stuff, here Kyle's probably the best person out of all of us to get that insight from.
Yeah, and I'm just like it sucks so bad that there's no mic on Kyle's feed. Like maybe you could input a little bit more. Is he still on the line there?
I think we lost Kyle's connection there.
Okay. Well, I mean, sorry.
I also want to make sure to mention too that like John writes a lot of fucking awesome music for the band too. Like I'm not trying
totally.
to, I don't know. Yeah, it's a real collective of ideas.
There's no formula whatsoever. Honestly, it's like everyone brings something to the table and says, "What do you think of this?" And then it just kind of evolves. Like literally.
Yeah, John does. James brings in a lot of ideas.
Yeah, I remember one guy asked me one time, like, you know, who gets credit for writing the songs? One guy asked me, right? And, I was like, well, what do you mean? And he goes, well, you know, I write the songs in my band, so I'm the only one that gets credit for it, right? And I always thought that was kind of for lack of.
Oh yeah,
I really
nobody gives a fuck in the band too much about credit. That's kind of how.
So to me, it's always like, who's ever in the band at the time when the song was written and or recorded, that's who did the song.
Okay, yeah, I just thought like maybe like some bands like Rush will go off to like a cabin somewhere and they'll like collect their thoughts and just like write something. Like I didn't know if you guys were sort of like you would go through phases of just like, okay, well like let's lock ourselves in a hyperbolic time chamber and write a bunch of songs, or like like if it was, but it seems like you guys just sort of go with the flow, and I really dig that. I respect that. Like that's how I operate in a lot of ways too. So
yeah, 100%. And there's so many different influences in this band, and there have been a lot of people over the years that have been in this band, but all of the people who've been in this band have like quelled influences from so many different places. I mean, like Mopa's got like Mopa's like an encyclopedia of all music. He knows everything. I mean, everyone listens to a little bit of everything. So even though Armed and Hammered has like, to a certain degree, a sound that's a little bit pigeonholed sometimes, what we do comes from like so many different places, and I think that's what gives it a little bit of an edge, I guess. And there are times even where we try to like, I know as a guitar player, I'll try to like pop something I've heard from like a rockabilly song, but it doesn't quite work the way I think it's going to work, but it does something, right? And that brings something different to the table that we might not have had before. So I think the influences around us, and it can be very spontaneous too. And we've written songs where we might be like rehearsing for a show, and we just kind of suddenly go, hey, let's write a song, and we get a song. So there's no formula. We don't actively seek to write. It just happens. Like you said, very good. I think we got Kyle back. Are you there, Kyle?
There?
Hey? Yeah.
Ah, there you are.
There he is.
Sorry, we lost you, buddy.
You did it first time.
Can you guys hear Kyle?
Yeah,
Sounds better now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Kyle?
So yeah, I mean, I guess let's point this one at Kyle, since he just got back to us. Tell me something about the fucking kick-ass, fully loaded demo tape, all the black and yellow on there, 1991. That was just real sick. Looking at that tape online and stuff like that. Like, tell me something about that.
Well, it's been quite a while since I've even heard it. We had Hardcore Day with
Catch any of that?
No, it's kind of hard to hear. If you could just sort of give us a just
loaded.
Sorry?
if you could, John, like just sort of tell us what he's trying to get across there, if by chance.
Yeah, he was saying that the band at that point was a four-piece. Was Hardcore Dave on guitar. It was before I joined the band. But I got to say, that's probably one of my favorite recordings. So, and we still do some songs from that cassette. I think it only came out on cassette. Is that right? Yeah. Probably one of my favorite recordings. The songs on that are just.
Yeah, that is a crazy recording.
That was the the time I think that, like I said, cemented the style of the band was that incarnation of the band anyway, with Kieran, Kyle, Hardcore Dave, Mopa, obviously. Is there anybody else at that time? I think that was it.
You guys
That
did
was
it,
that lineup.
right?
Yeah, and that's when the band kind of really, like I said, developed its style, and that's been an influence to the band ever since, I think.
Yeah.
I remember going to see you guys. This is before I joined the band, and I think I don't know if it was a release for that cassette or something. It was at the Silver Dollar. It was one of the last shows at the Silver Dollar before it shut down. And something happened. Oh, you know what? They were pulling out like deep fryers from the kitchen or something. And the cops showed up in the middle of the Armed and Hammered set. I was in the pit. I was just like going crazy in the pit. And the cops showed up and started to shut down the show. And everyone's like, no, we're not leaving. It ended up that they were pulling out deep fryers in the kitchen because the place was closing. And there was a gas leak and it was about to explode.
What?
And there were fire trucks outside. Was that like a release for that?
No, I remember that show. That wasn't the release. The release for that was done at Sneaky D's, and the Dayglows actually played our release show.
There was a couple of shows that the cops showed up and
Yeah.
sort of kicked everybody out.
Hang on a second. What were you saying, Kyle?
That Sneaky D's Dingles one was for the Sucker Punch single.
Oh.
What, at the Silver Dollar?
No, Sneaky D's.
Sneaky D's.
Oh, I thought that was for the cassette.
Wasn't there?
No, the Sucker Punch one was at the Rivoli, I thought.
Yeah, a little hazy.
I don't know. Whatever.
Wasn't there a show? Wasn't there a show though where Armed and Hammered opened for the Dayglows at someplace out on Queen East, the Marquee or something like that? And then the next night, the Dayglows opened for Armed and Hammered at Sneaky D's or something.
Yeah, there was something like that. I think it was either the Marquee or the old Roxy or something.
Right.
That would be. Would that be East? Yeah. I think it was the Roxy.
Spectrum. Kyle says it was a Spectrum.
Oh, right.
I remember being at both those shows again before I was in the band and just going, "Fuck, this is awesome." It's so good.
Yeah, no, that's really fucking cool. Like, I dig a lot of the shows there at the Bovine and stuff like that. Like, so I seen you guys play there actually, which is really cool. That's an awesome venue. But yeah, what about like the new 7-inch American Democracy? Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, it was we wrote and recorded this song. There it is, by the way. Wrote and recorded a song called American Democracy, kind of right around the start of the new year, I guess. And our plan was to put it out as a split with Vulgar Deli from Montreal, which we did. Vulgar Deli's on the other side. Vulgar Deli. And then because of the restrictions with studios and that sort of thing, we didn't have a chance to really write or record a second song. So we released an unreleased version of a Dayglows cover that we did years and years ago. I'm not even sure what date that was recorded on. I think we narrowed it down, Kyle, to like 97 or 98 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And same thing, Vulgar Deli on the other side. They did a new song as well called Toxic Love, and then an old song they had recorded years ago, cover as well called Shake. And great 7-inch. It's so cool to do vinyl again. Like we did, we've done a bunch of vinyl, and then we did a CD, and then we hadn't done anything for a few years. So actually, we put out a couple of cassettes in the interim, but doing vinyl again was kind of fun.
Sick, yeah, man. That's like I did get a chance to listen to it, and it sounds pretty friggin' rad. Like, but to be honest, in my opinion, you guys can do no wrong. I mean, yeah, like, and I got to give you guys credit for that. Like, you have a real consistent sound. I've yet to hear a song by you guys that I do not like instantly enjoy. You know, like my favorite song is Rat Poison High, and like it's because I got a video of you guys playing it at the Christmas show at the Bovine there, and it was just like, it was one of those things, like, it was so fucking sick. I had to like, I had to just like leave at that point, because I was like, this is so cool. I might just do something stupid, and like, like, I don't know. I'm just
Was that
yeah.
the show recently at the Bovine?
Yeah, the last in 2020. It
I think
was,
that was that the last show? That was the last show we played, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a great night.
All right.
That
I
was,
think so. We had a string of shows. Yeah, that's right. It was the Bovine. Yeah.
so okay, moving right along. Let's talk about the show you guys played with Scarface at Lee's Palace, the January 10th show.
That was cool.
Yeah, like tell me a bit about that, how that happened.
that was every year. Scarface does one show around Christmas at Lee's. Scarface is one of my favorite Toronto bands too. By the way, they're pretty awesome. My wife Mars, who it's her birthday today actually. But
Happy birthday, Mars.
She used to be involved with Scarface and in a company that did some management with Scarface. Anyway, they're an awesome band. Love Scarface. They called us up and asked if we wanted to do that show with them, and of course, it was like, yeah, absolutely. That was a lot of fun, that show.
Well, wasn't it awesome how the Baudelaires there, they started off, and like, what, there was 2 of them or something, and just like more members sort of kept showing up.
They were unbelievable. They were so good, man. The Baudelaires. Yeah, that was just a great night. I had a bunch of equipment problems that night, and then, but it just ended up being a killer show, man. Like, just awesome show. Yeah.
Yeah, that, like, I'm so stoked, like, that I got to be there, because I'd had like a long day. I can't remember. I think I was maybe working or something, and I show up and just like sit down and just hear some ska going, and it's just like, it was just this real cool moment. Like and then yeah, you guys just rocking out, and like right when you guys started playing or something like that, all my friends that I made like going to shows and stuff like that sort of just walked in, and like some of the video footage of that show is just crazy. Everybody just having a good time, like the footage I caught for Scarface, like it was just really great. Like I feel bad, because like there's so much good stuff happening in the Toronto music scene right before COVID hit, like it was just really fucking rad. And yeah, so I wanted to thank you guys for that. And I got one last question. And you guys can keep it short and sweet if you want, or you can give me the long and short of it. After COVID is over, can your boy Peanut Butter over here, now hear me out, be the world's worst armed and hammered roadhead? Like, I mean, I'll be dedicated, I'll be there, but like, what do you guys think? What do you, huh?
Well, if you're talking about helping move equipment and all that, hell yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
I've been trying to inject more and more amps into our setup. So the only thing that holds me back is not wanting to carry them all. So, for sure.
Yeah.
I usually try to carry everything as much as I can. But yeah, we're getting old.
No, I swear, like, if all of this COVID blows over and you guys go on like a nice tour or something, I will follow you. I'll tell you, I'll put aside the money and follow you to each show. Just like,
always welcome, man.
That would be so cool. But yeah, like, and so unless there is like something you guys want to say to the audience here, the 20 scene Quaker Kid Productions audience here, like, I think like we're nearing the end. Like, is there something you guys want to shout out? Anything like that?
Buy our 7-inch. We don't have a lot left. And if you don't buy it for us, buy it for the Vulgar Deli side. They're awesome.
Awesome. Okay. Well, with that, I will wish you all adieu, my wonderful listeners. I hope you guys are pleased that we put this together, and like yeah, it's fucking kick-ass. 20scene.com. Check out the website, 20scene tube, YouTube that shit. You know what I'm saying? Check it out because like I do this for free. Literally, I don't make a single dime. I just love the fucking music. It's been, you know, a labor of love of mine to just sort of, you know, encapsulate what's going on in the music scene in Toronto and in Ontario and stuff like that. I'm happy to do it. And just, yeah, Quaker Kid Productions for the win. Armed and Hammered for the win. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, peace out, homies.
Right on. Cheers, man. Thanks.